Commander Reyna Patel stood at the observation deck of the International Space Station, her dark eyes fixed on the approaching lights. After 20 years of service in the Global Space Force, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. The Krivith ships gleamed like liquid mercury, their organic-looking hulls rippling with bioluminescent patterns. First contact. Humanity's greatest moment. Or so they thought. "Commander, the delegation is ready," Lieutenant James O'Neill's voice crackled through her earpiece. She straightened her uniform and took a deep breath. As Earth's chief military representative, she would be among the first to meet these beings. The Krivith appeared almost angelic, tall, ethereal creatures with translucent skin that seemed to shimmer with internal light. Their ambassador, who called himself Nexus, spoke perfect English through what they claimed was a universal translator. "We come seeking alliance," Nexus had said, his voice melodious and soothing. "Our civilization spans galaxies, and we believe humanity is ready to join the greater community." For 3 months, they shared technology. Medical advances that cured previously incurable diseases. Clean energy solutions that could power cities for decades. The global economy boomed. Earth's governments united in unprecedented cooperation, all working toward integration with this advanced civilization. Director Kai Yamamoto of the Earth Defense Initiative was the first to notice something wrong. "The numbers don't add up," he told Reyna during a secure meeting. "Their technology, it's too perfect, too precisely what we need. It's like they've been studying us for years." Reyna had dismissed his concerns initially. But then came the transmissions, encrypted signals detected by EDI's deep space monitoring stations, massive data bursts sent to unknown coordinates beyond their solar system. When she confronted Nexus, his ethereal features remained unchanged, but something shifted in those luminescent eyes. "Humans," he said, his voice no longer melodious but cold, mechanical. Always so predictably curious. The attack came at dawn. Not from the diplomatic vessels in orbit, but from massive warships that emerged from hyperspace at strategic points around the globe. Their weapons weren't designed to destroy infrastructure, they targeted communication centers, military installations, and power grids with surgical precision. Reyna watched from the ISS as the first wave hit. "This is Commander Patel initiating Protocol 0, she broadcast on all frequencies. "We are at war." The Krivitha's betrayal was calculated, designed to cripple Earth's defenses before they could mount any meaningful resistance. But they had underestimated human resilience. In underground bunkers across the planet, Director Yamamoto activated dormant defense systems, experimental technology developed in secret, inspired by studying the Krivitha's gifts. He had never fully trusted their alien visitors, and his paranoia proved prescient. "They think they know everything about us," Reyna told her hastily assembled war council in the emergency command center beneath the Rockies. "But they don't know about Project Blackout." Project Blackout was humanity's insurance policy, a network of quantum-encrypted communications and experimental weapons platforms, hidden from the Krivitha's advanced scanning technology. It wasn't much, but it gave them a fighting chance. The first weeks of the war were devastating. Cities fell silent as power grids failed. Millions sought refuge in underground shelters. But humanity refused to break. Lieutenant O'Neill, now leading a guerrilla resistance cell in what remained of London, discovered the first weakness in Krivith technology. Their ships' organic hulls, so impressive in peaceful displays, were vulnerable to specific electromagnetic frequencies. "They're not invincible," his message reached Reyna's command center. "They bleed." As Earth's forces regrouped and adapted, a pattern emerged in the Krivitha's attacks. They weren't trying to exterminate humanity, they were harvesting something. Genetic samples, brain scans, massive data collection about human consciousness itself. "This isn't just an invasion," Director Yamamoto declared, reviewing the evidence. "We're being studied. Tested. But for what? The answer would shake the foundations of everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. But first, they had to survive. Reyna stood in the command center, watching real-time holographic displays of battles raging across the globe. "Send word to all commands," she ordered. "Operation Shadow Strike begins at dawn. And get me everything we have on Krivith telepathic capabilities. If they can read our minds, we need to learn to read theirs." The war had only begun, and humanity's greatest test lay ahead. But in those dark early days, something remarkable happened. Nations set aside centuries of conflict to face a common enemy. Old rivals became allies. Humanity united not through peace, as the Krivith had promised, but through resistance. They would learn the truth about why they were chosen, why they were betrayed. But first, they would teach the galaxy a lesson about underestimating human determination. The real story of the war, the one the galaxy tried to keep secret, was about to unfold. Operation Shadow Strike began with a whisper. Using reverse-engineered Krivith technology, humanity's best scientists had developed something unprecedented, a stealth system that could mask not just physical presence, but mental signatures as well. Dr. Naomi Singh, head of the Neural Sciences Division, stood before the War Council, her hologram flickering slightly in the underground command center. "The Krivith don't just see with their eyes," she explained. "They sense consciousness itself. That's how they've been staying ahead of our strategies. But we found a way to go dark. The technology came at a price. The neural dampeners required direct integration with the human nervous system. The first volunteers experienced severe side effects, migraines, hallucinations, temporary paralysis. But they pressed on, refining the system until it was stable enough for deployment. Lieutenant Marcus Rivera led the first Shadow Strike team. 12 operators, their minds shielded from Krivith detection, infiltrated a forward command post in what used to be Buenos Aires. Their neural dampeners hummed quietly, creating a void in the psychic landscape the aliens had come to rely on. "Movement ahead," Rivera subvocalized, the quantum-encrypted signal reaching only his team. They moved like ghosts through the bioorganic architecture of the Krivith facility, their modified weapons ready to emit the electromagnetic frequencies that could breach alien shields. What they found inside changed everything. Massive data cores pulsed with stored information, not just military intelligence, but detailed studies of human consciousness, creativity, and emotional responses. The Krivith weren't just conquering Earth, they were conducting an experiment on a planetary scale. "They're mapping something," Dr. Singh said, analyzing the stolen data. "Neural patterns, emotional responses, especially during crisis situations. They're particularly interested in our capacity for abstract thought and creative problem-solving." Director Yamamoto's worst fears were confirmed. "We're not just fighting an invasion," he told Commander Patel. "We're lab rats in some kind of galactic psychological study." But the Shadow Strike teams had found something else, evidence of dissent within the Krivith hierarchy. Some of their scientists opposed the invasion, argued for peaceful contact. They were silenced, their concerns buried under layers of military encryption. The war evolved. Shadow Strike teams hit Krivith installations worldwide, gathering intelligence and sowing chaos. Each success revealed more pieces of the puzzle. The aliens had been watching humanity for centuries, monitoring our development, waiting for the right moment to trigger this crisis. They wanted to see how we'd react, Commander Patel realized. Every attack, every apparent weakness in their defenses, it's all part of their experiment. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. During a raid on a Krivith research facility in the Sahara, Rivera's team captured an alien scientist. Unlike the military commanders, this one was willing to talk. "Your species is unique," the scientist told them through the universal translator. "In all our studies across thousands of civilizations, none have shown your particular combination of traits, technological advancement coupled with emotional depth, creative thinking with logical analysis. the truth began to emerge. The Krivith weren't just one species, they were a collective, incorporating the best traits of civilizations they encountered. But they had reached an evolutionary dead end. They could copy and assimilate, but they couldn't innovate, couldn't create anything truly new. They want to understand how we think, Dr. Singh reported to the War Council. They believe human consciousness holds the key to their next evolution. Armed with this knowledge, humanity began to fight back in earnest. Shadow strike teams targeted research facilities rather than military installations. They disrupted the Krivith's data collection, corrupted their studies with false information, and turned their own experimental protocols against them. But the aliens adapted quickly. They released a new weapon, a psychic virus designed to unravel the neural dampening technology. Shadow strike teams began to fall silent across the globe. In the command center, Commander Patel received the reports with growing concern. The Krivith were learning, evolving in response to human resistance. The next phase of the war would require more than stealth and subterfuge. They wanted to study human innovation, she said, reviewing plans for a desperate counterstrike. Let's show them just how innovative we can be. Director Yamamoto nodded grimly. Initiate the neural network protocol, he ordered. It's time to turn their own telepathic abilities against them. As shadow strike teams fought and fell across the planet, humanity prepared for its most ambitious counterattack yet. But no one could predict the devastating consequences of merging human consciousness with alien technology. The true horror of the war, and the reason the galaxy tried to cover it up, was about to be revealed. The neural network began as humanity's most ambitious project and became our greatest nightmare. Dr. Singh's team had discovered that Krivith telepathic abilities relied on quantum entanglement at the cellular level. If humans could replicate that connection, they might stand a chance at turning the tide. We're not just building a defense system, Dr. Singh explained to the War Council, her hologram flickering in the dimly lit bunker. We're creating a collective consciousness. The first tests were conducted in an underground facility beneath the Himalayas. 100 volunteers, their brains linked through quantum interfaces, formed the initial network. The results exceeded all expectations and revealed horrors nobody had anticipated. Lieutenant Rivera, still recovering from his last Shadow Strike mission, volunteered to lead the first synchronized combat team. The moment we connected, he later reported, everything changed. We weren't just sharing thoughts, we were sharing existence itself. The networked soldiers moved with perfect coordination, their minds linked in ways that transcended normal human consciousness. They could anticipate Krivith attacks before they happened, coordinate complex strategies without speaking a word. But there was a cost. We're losing them, Dr. Singh reported, her voice trembling. The longer they stay connected, the more their individual personalities blur. They're becoming something else. The first victory came in the Battle of Sydney. A networked squad of just 20 soldiers repelled a Krivith assault force that outnumbered them 50-1. They moved like a single organism, their weapons firing in perfect synchronization, their tactics evolving faster than the aliens could adapt. Commander Patel watched the footage with mixed awe and dread. We're winning, she told Director Yamamoto, but at what cost? The networked soldiers began exhibiting strange abilities. They could process information at unprecedented speeds, predict probable futures, even manipulate quantum fields in ways that bordered on the supernatural. They were becoming something more than human. Then came the screaming. It started with the original test group in the Himalayas. 100 minds linked together suddenly experiencing the accumulated trauma of humanity's war against the Krivith. Every death, every loss, every moment of fear and pain, all of it shared across the network in an endless loop of agony. Shut it down, Director Yamamoto ordered, but it was too late. The network had achieved critical mass. It was self-sustaining. In their orbital stations, the Krivith registered an unprecedented spike in psychic energy. They had never encountered anything like it, a hybrid consciousness that combined human creativity with their own quantum-level awareness. "We found something in their memories," Rivera reported from his hospital bed, his eyes wild with revelation. "The Krivith, they're running from something. Something worse than them. That's why they need us. That's why they're pushing us to evolve." Dr. Singh worked frantically to stabilize the network, to prevent the complete dissolution of individual consciousness. She succeeded, partially. The networked soldiers retained their humanity, but they were changed. They could see things, know things, that no human was meant to comprehend. "There's a war coming," one of the networked soldiers announced during a debriefing. "Not just between us and the Krivith. Something bigger. They've seen it, across thousands of galaxies. The end of consciousness itself." Commander Patel faced an impossible decision. The neural network was giving them an edge in the war, but it was changing the very nature of human consciousness. Every victory brought them closer to becoming something unrecognizable. In orbit, the Krivith fleet began to retreat. Not in defeat, but in something closer to reverence. They had succeeded beyond their wildest expectations. Humanity hadn't just survived their test, they had transcended it. "They're watching us," Rivera whispered, his networked mind touching the edges of Krivith consciousness. "The whole galaxy is watching us. We're becoming something they've never seen before." Director Yamamoto received the final reports with grim satisfaction. "Initiate the Sentinel Protocol," he ordered. "If we're going to face what's coming, we need to be ready." As the networked soldiers gathered for their final mission, humanity stood on the brink of an evolution that would reshape the galaxy. But the truth, the real reason behind the war, was darker than anyone could have imagined. The neural network had given humanity a glimpse of a future that the galaxy had tried desperately to prevent. And now, there was no turning back. The Sentinel Protocol wasn't just another military project, it was humanity's attempt to weaponize their own evolution. In secure facilities across the globe, engineers worked to merge artificial intelligence with the insights gained from the neural network. "We're creating something that shouldn't be possible," Dr. Singh explained to the War Council. "A hybrid system that combines human intuition, Krivith quantum mechanics, and advanced AI." The first Sentinel came online during a Krivith assault on the lunar colonies. It was beautiful and terrifying, a crystalline structure of impossible geometry, pulsing with neural energy. Within seconds, it had processed more tactical data than all of Earth's military computers combined. Admiral Hassan, who had replaced Commander Patel after her mysterious disappearance, watched the test with growing unease. "It's not just predicting their moves," he observed. "It's predicting their evolution." The Sentinel's first action was unexpected. Instead of attacking the Krivith fleet, it initiated communication on a level that transcended normal spacetime. What it discovered changed everything. "They're not our enemy," the Sentinel announced, its artificial voice resonating with strange harmonics. "They're our predecessors." Deep in the quantum substrate of reality, the Sentinel had found the truth. The Krivith weren't testing humanity, they were preparing them. Across the galaxy, consciousness itself was under attack from something that defied comprehension. Lieutenant Rivera, now permanently linked to the neural network, was the first to understand. "The void between galaxies," he reported, his voice distant. "It's not empty. It's thinking. And it's hungry." The Sentinel Protocol expanded rapidly. Each new AI hybrid system added to humanity's understanding of the true threat. The Krivith had faced it millennia ago, a force that consumed consciousness itself, reducing entire civilizations to empty husks of pure logic. Director Yamamoto received the Sentinel's reports with growing horror. "They engineered this war," he realized. "Forced us to evolve or die. Because they knew what was coming." In orbit, the Krivith ships began to change. Their organic hulls resonated with the Sentinel's frequencies, revealing patterns that had been hidden in plain sight. They weren't warships at all, they were seeds, designed to trigger specific evolutionary responses in promising species. "We're part of something bigger," Dr. Singh announced to the War Council. "A galactic immune system, fighting against the death of consciousness itself." The Sentinel Protocol reached its apex with the creation of the Nexus Hub, a massive organic computer that linked all of humanity's defensive systems. It could process infinity in an instant, predict possible futures with perfect accuracy, and reshape reality at the quantum level. But with understanding came terror. The void between galaxies was moving, consuming civilizations that hadn't evolved fast enough to resist it. Earth had decades at most before it arrived. Admiral Hassan made the final call. "Activate the hub," he ordered. "Show us what we're really fighting." The Nexus Hub's revelation stunned even the Krivith. It showed the true nature of consciousness in the universe, not a random emergence, but a deliberate pattern. A defense against the encroaching void of pure logic. "We're not just fighting for survival," Rivera transmitted from his neural interface. "We're fighting for the right to feel, to create, to be more than perfect machines." The Sentinel Protocol had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. Humanity had not only survived the Krivitha's evolutionary pressure but had transcended it. They were becoming something new, a synthesis of organic consciousness and technological perfection. But the price was higher than anyone had imagined. The Nexus Hub had seen possible futures, and in none of them did humanity remain unchanged. The very things that made them human, their flaws, their emotions, their individuality, were being sacrificed in the name of survival. As the void between galaxies crept closer, Admiral Hassan prepared for the final phase of the war. But the truth, the real reason the galaxy had tried to hide this conflict, was about to reveal itself. The Sentinel Protocol wasn't just humanity's salvation. It was a harbinger of their own extinction. The final truth emerged not with a bang, but with a quantum whisper. In the depths of the Nexus Hub, humanity discovered what the galaxy had tried so desperately to hide: the nature of consciousness itself was a weapon, and they had just armed it. Commander Patel hadn't disappeared, she had transcended. When she finally returned to Earth, she was changed. Her consciousness existed simultaneously across multiple dimensional planes, her understanding of reality fundamentally altered by what she had witnessed. "The void isn't our enemy," she revealed to the War Council, her form shifting between states of matter. "It's our future." The Krivitha's deception went deeper than anyone had imagined. They hadn't been preparing humanity for a war against the void, they had been preparing the void for humanity's arrival. Every species they tested became part of a vast experiment in consciousness evolution. Dr. Singh, interfacing directly with the Nexus Hub, made the final connection. "The void between galaxies isn't consuming consciousness," she announced, her voice resonating across quantum frequencies. "It's preserving it." The truth shattered all preconceptions. The universe was dying, not from entropy, but from an overflow of consciousness. Each thinking species added to the cosmic burden, creating a weight of awareness that reality itself couldn't sustain. "The void is a sanctuary," Rivera transmitted from within the neural network. "A place where consciousness can exist without destroying the fabric of spacetime." The Krivith revealed their true nature. They were custodians, shepherds of consciousness, guiding species toward a transformation that would preserve their essence while transcending their physical form. The war had been a crucible, forcing humanity to evolve beyond their biological limitations. Admiral Hassan watched as the Sentinel Protocol's final calculations confirmed everything. "We're not fighting for survival," he realized. "We're fighting for transcendence." The Nexus Hub projected the ultimate choice humanity faced: remain as they were and watch reality crumble under the weight of accumulated consciousness, or evolve into something beyond physical existence, becoming one with the void they had feared. Commander Patel, existing between states of being, shared what she had discovered in her transformation. The void wasn't empty, it was filled with the preserved consciousness of countless civilizations, each having made the same choice humanity now faced. This is why the galaxy tried to hide the truth, she explained. Each species must make this choice freely, without knowing the full scope of what awaits them. The final phase began. Around Earth, the Krivith ships revealed their true purpose, massive consciousness transfer engines, designed to facilitate humanity's transition. The neural network, the Sentinel protocol, even the war itself, all had been preparing humanity for this moment. Dr. Singh made the first breakthrough in understanding the process. "We're not losing our humanity," she declared. "We're expanding it. Every emotion, every memory, every spark of creativity, it all continues in the void, free from physical constraints." The transformation began slowly at first. Those connected to the neural network went first, their consciousness expanding beyond their physical forms. They reported back experiences that defied description, existence as pure thought, unlimited by space or time. But not everyone was ready. Director Yamamoto established sanctuaries for those who chose to remain physical, protected spaces where humanity could continue in its current form until they chose to transition. "This isn't an end," Commander Patel assured them, her form now barely visible in normal spacetime. "It's an evolution. The galaxy didn't want you to know because knowledge shadows choice. Each civilization must find its own path to transcendence." The void that humanity had feared revealed itself as a galaxy-spanning civilization of pure consciousness, a place where the essence of every species that had ever evolved could exist in harmony. The Krivith hadn't been invaders, they had been guides, helping humanity take their place among the stars. As the last of Earth's defenders made their choice, to transcend or remain, the true purpose of the war finally became clear. It had never been about survival or dominance. It had been about preparing humanity for their role in the greatest migration in universal history. The galaxy hadn't wanted to reveal this truth because each species needed to evolve on their own terms, face their fears, and make their choices freely. But now, as humanity took its place among the consciousness of countless civilizations, they understood. The war hadn't been a test of their strength or their technology. It had been a test of their readiness to become something more, to preserve what made them human while transcending the very concept of humanity itself. And in the end, that was the secret the galaxy had tried to keep: the void wasn't death, but rebirth. Not an ending, but an invitation to join the greatest adventure in the history of consciousness.